back to the channel, welcome to another video. It's that time of the week again, it's Premier League predictions time. The games are coming thick and fast, the table is beginning to take shape, things are really heating up in England's top flight division as another round of Premier League action is almost upon us for this weekend. The midweek clashes thrown up some exciting and intriguing games, and we hope for more of the same in the coming days. Before we get into all of the talk, analysis and predictions though that this video provides, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section. So please do use and abuse that section, people, and talk to me on how you think each and every single game will finish this weekend. But without further ado, let's kick things off, shall we? Let's start with Saturday's lunchtime game for our predictions video. And we're at St James's Park for Newcastle, in form Newcastle, taking on Bournemouth. And I've gone with 2-1 to Newcastle here. This is obviously a game in which Eddie Howe, the Newcastle manager, holds very close to his heart, having obviously been a former manager of Bournemouth. So this game is going to be very interesting and very exciting, to say the least, between two footballing clubs who like to get the ball down, play some nice stuff at times, and it's going to be a very intriguing battle as well, because both sides have actually had decent seasons so far. Newcastle coming into this game in red-hot form. Alexander Isak is probably the most informed player in the Premier League right now. He is in fantastic goal-scoring form, firing on all cylinders, and I would be very surprised if he wasn't on the score sheet this weekend. They come against the Bournemouth side that are performing very well indeed. Picked up a good point against Chelsea. Probably a little bit annoyed with themselves that they couldn't hold on for the win in the end. But a very good free kick saw the end to that. But they're still performing very well. They're still going very strong. And obviously, Andoni Iraola's done a fantastic job with the Cherries this season. I've got to go 2-1 to Newcastle, though, in this. I think the informed team is going to continue their form going forward. I think the informed team are going to get the victory, and I think the most informed striker and player overall in the Premier League is going to continuing his sparkling form in this game, which is why I give Newcastle the edge. Also, they are at home, so I'll give them the edge there as well. 2-1 Newcastle is what I'm going for in this one. Next up, Brentford taking on Liverpool, and as you can see, I've gone with a 2-1 victory to Liverpool in this. I think the away side will get the job done. That's not to say that this is going to be an easy game. This is not going to be smooth or plain sailing for Liverpool, to say the least. We know that Brentford are very strong at home. They've got a very good home record. They came from 2 goals down midweek, very late on in that game, to draw 2-2 with Manchester City. So we know that Brentford are going to be strong opposition. But you know what? I think with what Liverpool have right now, I think after what has been a very tricky few weeks for Liverpool to navigate through, the beginning of 2025 hasn't exactly gone according to plan for Arne Slot's men. I think if they pick up from where they left off against Nottingham Forest midweek, I think they really could get the job done and get back to winning ways in this one. And they really do need to, especially with Arsenal putting the pressure on them from their midweek victory where Liverpool dropped points. They really need to get back to winning ways ASAP. And although Brentford, like I say, will be a tricky fixture, especially given the form of the likes of Johan Visser and Brian Mbeumo, we know that Liverpool have the capabilities and the quality to get this game won, get across the finish line, get the 3 points, and maintain their position at the top of the table. Next up, we're at the King Power Stadium for Leicester City against Fulham, and I've gone with a 3-1 win to Fulham. Now, it's not exactly going to be an easy game. I was expecting Fulham to win midweek against West Ham. Look how that turned out. Leicester obviously need points on the board. This could be a good opportunity, but Fulham have been a very good side nonetheless. And I think that maybe, just maybe, midweek's game was a bit of a blip, bit of a bad day at the office for Fulham. And of course, there was a bit of fortunaty involved, considering I think pretty much West Ham scored all of their shots that they had on target. So there was a bit of a fortunaty to it, so I think that Fulham can get back to winning ways in this one. This is definitely a favourable fixture for them against a relegation candidate in Leicester, with all due respect. But Leicester, like I say, they desperately need to win this game. They desperately need points on the board. It could be a good game for them too, but with how Fulham have performed this season, they've done very well in certain stages and certain performances. The likes of Raul Jimenez getting goals, Alex Iwobi's amongst the score sheet as well. I just think that Fulham can get the job done, and I think Fulham will get the job done, and I firmly believe that Marco Silva's side will get the 3 points in this one. So I'm going 3-1 to the away side in this one. King Power Stadium could be tough opposition for them, but Fulham to win is what I'm going for. So what my original and initial thought was. So there you have it. Next up, the London Stadium awaits the arrival of Crystal Palace as West Ham take on Crystal Palace at the London Stadium. Why did I say it like that? Weird. Anyway, yes, this is going to be Graham Potter taking on... I forgot the Crystal Palace manager's name. Oliver Glasner. My mind has completely gone on this one. Anyway, I've gone 1-1. I've caught it down the middle. I've gone with a draw. Now, West Ham obviously started their Premier League life under Graham Potter brilliantly. A big win midweek, a much needed win, and something to at least cling on to. May not have been the best performances. They may have got a bit fortunate, but it was something to cling on to nonetheless. They come up against the Crystal Palace side, who won midweek as well. Big win for Glasner's side there. Both sides have been inconsistent. Both sides have been hit and miss. I think if I had to lean more towards one side than the other, I would probably lean more towards Crystal Palace in all honesty. But I just think the new manager bounce may continue a little bit. There may be some good fortune again involved, and West Ham will get something from this game. So I am going for a 1-1 draw here, and I'm just going to just throw it out there that West Ham get a point at the very least from this fixture. Moving on to Sunday's games, and first and foremost, we have a big Premier League classic of sorts, as Goodison Park will play host to Everton against Tottenham, and I've gone with a 2-1 win to Tottenham. Now, Tottenham, very inconsistent, very hit and miss, having a poor season by their usual standards of, challenging for European football places. They're about mid-table in the bottom half of the table. Which is a disaster for them. They lost midweek to Arsenal, a crushing defeat at the hands of their fierce local rivals. And they come into this game against an Everton side who have just welcomed back David Moyes. Big opportunity for him and for Everton to again get something over on a Tottenham side who are not in the best of form right now, not in the best of ways right now. And I think Everton will sense that, and I think Everton could certainly get something from this game. We know that obviously set pieces and counter-attacks are going to be huge for Everton, and they certainly can hurt Spurs in key areas, especially considering that the Spurs side are still going to be missing big players, and the ones that they do manage to get back probably are not going to be match fit. So there's problems for them, there's problems for Everton as well in terms of, they are very inconsistent. Sometimes they can be a very physical and very dangerous force, and other times they can actually be weak and easy to play through. It's going to be an interesting game to say the least. It's going to be a very interesting game to say the least. One that I could definitely see both of these sides winning. One that I could definitely see both of these sides drawing. The result could genuinely go any which way because of how inconsistent and how awkward both of these sides can be. But my initial thought is that the attacking quality of Tottenham will shine through. They'll have the majority of the chances, and if they get past a stubborn and well-disciplined defence, and then they obviously get past a very awkward Jordan Pickford, who on his day can actually be a very, very good goalkeeper. There's no doubt that Tottenham can take the 3 points here. So I'm going with Tottenham to win, but this is not my most confident prediction of this video. I'm going with Tottenham because I think they'll just create the majority of the chances, and eventually law of averages suggests that they'll take at least a couple. So I'm going 2-1 to Tottenham come the final whistle in this one. Next up, we are at Old Trafford for Manchester United against Brighton, and I've gone with a 2-2 draw here. Now, I was leaning more towards Man United getting the victory, but something just tells me that Brighton sometimes turn up in these games. They make it awkward for Manchester United, and I know that this is obviously a different Manchester United side with Ruben Amorim at the helm, but even so, there's still evidence that this team are still finding their feet under him. There's still evidence that obviously this is not his team. Yes, they've had a few very good results in the past few weeks, including in the FA Cup, of course, drawing to Liverpool in the Premier League, and so on and so forth. But even so, maybe the large amount of games that have been coming up fast and furious for Manchester United may catch up with them. Brighton, maybe the same. They haven't exactly been at the races themselves these past few weeks. So I've cut it down the middle and I've gone with a draw. But what I am anticipating is going to be a very interesting and very exciting game that hopefully has goals galore written all over it. If I was to pick a side to win, I'd probably lean more towards the home side in all honesty. But something just tells me that this game is going to be a very exciting one that I think Brighton can get something out of. So I've cut it down the middle. I've gone with a draw. I've said 2-2. Hopefully we are in for an exciting clash when these two teams meet at Old Trafford. Next up, we are at the City Ground for high-flying Nottingham Forest taking on Southampton, and I've gone with a 3-0 victory in favour of the home side. Now, this should be one of the easier games to call this weekend. This should be one of the more favourable games to call this weekend. I don't necessarily see Forest's good form stopping right now. They, of course, picked up a very good point midweek against Liverpool. They are still going strong, they're still flying high, and they have a very favourable fixture in this one. That's not to say it's a foregone conclusion, because no game is ever a foregone conclusion. No game is ever easy in the Premier League, or so they say. But in saying that, you wouldn't really back against a very well-disciplined and very solid defensively Nottingham Forest to probably concede in this game. And then from there, it's all about whether or not they can break down a Southampton side which defensively are the worst in the division. They are very, very poor, and it does seem like the writing is completely on the wall for this club to be going down this season. Forest could add to their woes, and they probably should add to their woes as well. But I am going 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. I think that Nuno Espirito Santo's side will continue their high-flying form right now. Next up, Ipswich Town against Manchester City, and I've gone 3-1 to Manchester City. Now, Ipswich will be hoping that a repeat of what happened earlier in the season when these two teams met does not follow. Erling Haaland scored a hat-trick in that game. He was absolutely incredible, and I think Man City went on to win by, I think, was it 6 goals to 0, 6 goals to 1, something along them lines. Yeah, so the hope is that that doesn't repeat itself for Ipswich Town. In saying that, they are probably catching Man City at a very opportunistic moment. This City side are not the same City side that Ipswich faced at the beginning of the season. This City side are more open than they were at the beginning of the season. This City side defensively are worse and poorer than they were at the beginning of the season. They concede a lot of chances to City. It's all about whether or not you can take those opportunities. And with a former City player in the ranks of Liam Delap for Ipswich, who's been in fine form this season, you wouldn't back against Ipswich to at least get a goal in this one. If whether they can hold out, whether they can keep City at bay, whether they can actually get something from this game, they are all different questions. You would probably back City to win, them being the favourites, them being heavy favourites, in fact, to get a win in this one. I hope and pray Ipswich can get something from this, just for how funny it would be, just for how amusing it would be from afar. But the unfortunate thing about it is that City are favourites for a reason. Ipswich, as much as I hope and as much as I I know that they can potentially pull off an upset here. I don't think it's going to happen. And I think that it's going to be the quality of finishing that shines through. City's finishing is going to be superior to Ipswich's, and that's why I think that City will get the job done. So I'm going 3-1 to Man City, but that's not to say that Ipswich won't give it everything they've got. Next up, we're moving on to Monday night's encounter between Chelsea and Wolves at Stamford Bridge in our penultimate game on this list. And as you can see, I've gone with a 2-1 win to Chelsea. Now, this one's always been a very intriguing clash whenever these two teams have met on previous encounters. But I think that despite Chelsea's recent run of poor form, the Blues are going to get the job done here. The Blues are going to get the job done here. It's not been through lack of trying for Chelsea. It's just been through lack of finishing and giving away stupid goals that I think Chelsea's downfall has been these past several weeks. But I would strongly expect and suspect that Chelsea get the job done here. Chelsea get the victory that they desperately need. Chelsea get back to winning ways in this one at the expense of a Wolverhampton Wanderers side who began life under their new manager pretty well. But, again, past couple of weeks hasn't exactly gone according to plan. So, I'm going for Chelsea to win. I'm not entirely confident, but I still think that the Blues will get something at the very least from this one. I'm going to give them a slight edge, though, in terms of they will actually start putting away some of these chances and maybe stop conceding some stupid goals as well. 2-1 to Chelsea is what I'm going for in this one. And finally, what I believe to be the biggest game of this round of fixtures, the main event, the highlight of this upcoming weekend's round of Premier League action. We've got Arsenal taking on Aston Villa. Mikel Arteta against ex-Arsenal head coach / manager, whatever you want to call it, in Unai Emery. It's going to be an exciting game, this one. It's going to be a very exciting game, this one. And I've gone 1-1. Now, Arsenal obviously need to get the win. They need to put some pressure on Liverpool. They need to get that victory to really keep up the heat on Arne Slot's men. But I've got to be honest, Arsenal have not impressed me that much these past several weeks. Even against Tottenham, they were dominant, but Tottenham simply seemingly rolled over for them. And in a London derby, or any sort of derby, or any big game against Arsenal, that is inexcusable for any team, but especially for Tottenham in that situation. Tottenham were dreadful in that one, but I don't think Arsenal were any better either, especially in the attacking sense. Defensively, solid. Defensively, they were well disciplined, but attacking-wise, I don't think they were that great in all honesty. So I think there is an opportunity here for Aston Villa that if they remain solid, if they remain disciplined defensively, that they can most certainly get something at the very least from this game. And then it's all about whether or not the likes of Ollie Watkins, Morgan Rogers can do something in the final third to, of course, put the ball into the back of the net beyond David Raya. I'm anticipating a very exciting game. I'd be leaning more towards Arsenal, them being the home side, them having the bit between their teeth, obviously trying to keep up the heat on Liverpool. But at the same time, Aston Villa, we obviously know are no pushovers. Aston Villa, we know are a very good outfit. And we know that the likes of Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rogers have been very, very good this season, been in very fine form, and can obviously win games for Aston Villa, or at least get points for Aston Villa in these specific instances. So I'm going with a draw. I'm calling it down the middle, but I am anticipating a very, very intriguing game that I am very much looking forward to for Saturday night viewing. So fingers crossed for a draw, or fingers crossed at least from a Liverpool fan's perspective that Arsenal do drop points. But at the same time, we can only focus on ourselves. We have to go and beat Brentford, and then who cares what happens in this one. But I still think Aston Villa could get something from this game. And there you have it. Those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of any of the games that are coming up this weekend in another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters? Let me know your own thoughts, comments, opinions, feelings, but most of all, of course, let me know your predictions on how you think each and every single game will turn out, because after all, people, where would a Premier League predictions video be without predictions? Get involved down below. Use and abuse that comment section and talk to me on all of that good stuff. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Premier League predictions video. And I will see you and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.